Namaste and welcome, dear audience, in this brand new episode of our program, Guest in Town. Today, we are going to discuss about the liver situation of Nepal, the liver market, the international liver market and all. For this, we have the guest. She is the ILO's Assistant Director General and Regional Director for Asia and Pacific, Ms. Tomoko Nishimoto. Let me welcome her. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to Nepal.
Thank you. Pleasure
welcome
to be here.
Himalaya Television.
Thank you for having me.
Ma'am, this is the first visit of yours, isn't it?
That's correct.
Okay,
yes.
Tell us some experience with Nepal. When did you come to Nepal? When are you leaving back? And this experience with Nepal.
Yes, I came 3 days ago.
Okay.
4 days ago on Sunday. So I had 3 working days together with our staff, ILO staff here in Nepal office, and broad range of stakeholders. Of course, our counterpart ministry, Minister of Labour, but also other ministries. I had the meetings with the Prime Minister. That was really a pleasure.
Okay.
And interacted with the leaders and the members of the workers groups and the employers group. Those are very important part of the social partners, part of our stakeholders and development partners, UN agencies. So it was a busy schedule. Yes,
right.
very,
When
very.
you just said that you had a meeting with the Prime Minister, similarly the foreign ministers and the labor minister,
Exactly,
and similarly with the co-partners. Tell us something about your meeting with the Prime Minister and the Minister from Labor and all.
Very, very impressed by their commitment, by their awareness of both the opportunities and challenges, and the determination and commitment to resolve the challenges and move forward, taking advantage of this opportunity opening up for Nepal by having the constitution promulgated and moving forward to the next stage of Nepalese history. As I said, being aware of the challenges is very, very important. It's very, as well as being ambitious about it. And both that combination, balanced combination was very, very encouraging. And they also had a very concrete actions, immediate actions, as well as a long-term vision, and they were all able to articulate of those elements in a very short period of time that I had with those leaders. So overall, very, very encouraged. Yes.
Can you please say some of the overall objectives of your visit?
My objective, as you said, this is my first time to visit Nepal because I haven't been in my position for a long time. I took up this position in January last year, so about 15, 16 months now. We have 36 member states in Asia and the Pacific. So my objective is to visit to each one of them one by one and introduce myself, see what's the challenges and opportunities of the country and what we were doing in those countries. So Nepal, this visit is within that context, my first time. So very much seeing the action on the ground of my team, as well as interact with social partners and the government officials to learn more where we could make a difference in providing assistance.
Okay, so as per your objective, you are here in Nepal. How do you analyze the overall situation of Nepal, or let's say the Nepalese labor market?
Labor market, very difficult, but as I said, that it is a turning point, and it's very encouraging to have the determination of the policymakers as well as all the social partners to move forward. Difficult because it's not, as you know, it's not just for Nepal, globally. It is a very difficult time for the global economy. We have what we call the global job crisis. We have more than 200 million unemployed, and it's increasing every year. 2 to 3 million. This year we forecast 2 million will be added to that number. Next year probably 3 million. It could be even more with all this crisis in Europe and some conflict and so on, right? So within that broader job crisis, a global job crisis, Nepal also is experiencing serious labor market challenges. Unemployment is one, youth unemployment
what
particularly.
What is the reason behind this global employment crisis?
Well, in the first place, the global economy is not growing fast enough to produce the number of jobs compared with the people who are entering into the job market. Labor force, entry is bigger than the job number to being created by the economy. As you know, the contraction mode of the economy in Europe, in Asia, America, Latin America, we have some of the crisis countries. So overall, it's not producing. That's one. And then we will have a demographic changes. As we have a rapid population growth, which leads to the more number of people coming into youth particularly, but also aging society. So they are having a very narrow windows, what we call the demographic dividend, that there is a large number of productive population push the economy, productive activities, that is shrinking very rapidly, and have to look after the aged as well as think about the social protection as a whole. Of course, that's a good sign. It doesn't necessarily directly link to the job crisis. The job crisis is basically the economy not fast enough. This is not only the first, but I should also mention that in some cases it is a short-term, we believe, is effect, but technological advancement, the robots coming in, automation, so the traditionally very labor intensive sectors, agriculture, manufacturing, becoming less so labor intensive, and fewer jobs are being created in those sectors, and the surplus will have to find the jobs. There are some sectors increasing, service sectors, and also some new jobs are created by the technological advance. But at the moment, that the balance is being made, alignment is being made. So short term, we see a bit of the negative impact.
Ma'am, while talking about generating employment-friendly environment, or let's say for developing the labor-friendly environment, what ILO is doing currently? What are the deeds? How do you analyze the overall deeds of the ILO, and what are the priorities that ILO has set to do something in this field?
Should we talk about globally first?
Globally, first of all, let's talk about globally, and then after let's come to Nepal region.
Precisely against the background we just talked about, job crisis. There are a number of emerging priorities we were working on. One is definitely the inclusive growth and sustainable growth, particularly focusing on the youth employment. That's one area, definitely very important. Within that context, it's not just a job, any job. It has to be a quality job, good job, decent work. So we were also working on very traditionally our mandated area, which is putting the international labor standard and application of those standards. Very, very important. Social protection, as I mentioned, as the countries going into aged society, but also unemployment is there, inclusive, which means that there are a number of vulnerable groups. So all very comprehensive social protection is very important in every country. Of course, the combination, the forms is very different, but universal health care, provision, number of employment-related insurance, as well as the protection, social protection, social security forms, very important. So that's another area. Another area is the particularly applicable to Asia and the Pacific and Nepal as well, is the informal sector, addressing the formalization of the informal sector. Because the informal sector is good in terms of immediate job creation.
What
you
kind
can
of
do informal sector, you know, those small family-based enterprises which are not registered, which are not counted as a national, you know, development growth as such, and therefore also not only the financial and economic term, but it may, we know, are outside of the decent work protection, you know, the labor regulations, and therefore could be leading to the child labor, could be leading to the forced labor, and so on. So both economic terms as well as the protection and the labor regulation terms, there is a global call to formalize the informal economy, informal sectors, and this was very, very clear because we just adopted the recommendation to that effect last year, which means that globally the world agreed. That's a very big priority. Coming to Nepal, within that broader context, we have three broad areas. One is employment creation and social protection. The second is labor market governance, the institutions and systems establishment for the effective labor market administration, and then fundamental rights, the workers' rights. And in each we have, each area of those three, we have a policy level, you know, intervention, and a little bit more of a on-the-ground intervention. For example, if it for the employment and social protection, we have a Social Security Act under the Parliament that we have given provided technical assistance, and then also in national employment policy, for example, we have provided technical assistance, bringing in good experience from other countries and so on. But on the ground also we have a project which hires the community level people for the rural road maintenance in a rural area. So they take part, many of them are women, take part in the road maintenance, get paid, empowered, and know what is a decent job, because we provide the protective gears and sensitize them, of course regulate the working hours, and then remunerated, salaried on a regular basis. And you could see the women are very, very empowered, having their account regularly being paid, and able to care for the family, sending the children to school, and then even going into income generation activities, some enterprise, micro
Can
enterprises.
you please say something on this decent work environment?
Decent work basically have about 4 pillars. One is, as I mentioned, it's the a decent, particularly the decent salary, decent working condition, but salary, because you will be surprised, millions of people have the jobs, but still under the poverty line, what we call working poor. So they are not paid enough to put the food on the table for the children, you know, for the family. They don't have enough salary, working, you know,
Fair
so
wages.
many, and don't have the enough money to buy school uniform, for example. So the salary, decent salary job is one important. The second important is the workers' rights, that you have the right, be aware of the rights, and then you can exercise that right. The third important part is that we have the social protection. And then the fourth important part is the social dialogue. They can have the platform to collectively talk to the employers. So those are 4 very important key elements.
It's been so long that we are advocating for this kind of thing, right? This kind of social security, social protection, and beside that, fair wage and benefit. But still, we have not been able to achieve according to the goal. What is the reason behind that? Do you think that every country or every business houses, they have been able to provide a worker-friendly environment? What is the lapses? What is the loopholes behind this?
Well, there are many reasons. Of course, within the free market environment, where a lot of private sector endeavors are driven by the profit as such. So we could see the trend of even the growth, profit growth or productivity growth, as you say, increase of the productivity is not translated into the fair share of the income, and creating a unfortunate disparity between the management or the higher cadre and the actual, the bottom laborers. So what we were trying to do to say is, in the very short term, immediate term, it looks profitable, it looks fine, or fine meanings meet the free market principles. But in a longer term, if you have the majority of the people continue to be struggling, continue to be not having the purchasing power to contribute fully to the economy, in a longer term, you are finding the situation where the economy is stagnant. So it's really a balance, because then the company would say, well, if it is too much of the portion, then we will not be able to viable as a business as such. So it's a continuous of finding the balance, and this is one of the reasons which is very difficult, because every company, every country, every situation, you have this number of factors to finding the right balance.
While talking about this social security, what did you say? Because recently 13 laborers killed in Kabul, right? What's your say on this? What's your opinion on this?
Well, the Kabul is a very
dangerous,
the very specific situation. So we should not be generalizing it in terms of going there as a security guard in a very serious conflict situation. But you are right, in terms of the security in the job, safety in the job, what we call occupational safety and prevention of the occupational disease is a very important aspect. Providing the protective gears, being aware of the hazards, and therefore people are able to protect themselves. That is a very important part, and I should include that is one of the areas that all the partners agree that we have to make sure.
So you are mentioning about it.
Particularly for the migrant laborers, as you mentioned, those who go abroad, in construction workers, domestic workers, and some factory workers are not provided enough safety measures, and we're working very hard on that. In fact, I should mention that we have 5 flagship programs. Flagship programs are the ones that we chose as particularly very important, but also particularly have implication to the larger number of beneficiaries. And OSH, the occupational safety and health, is one of the 5 flagship.
I want to know something about the transparency, because while going through the website of ILO, I just found that it is mentioned about where the budget is being allocated or how the work is being done, but there is only a brief about it. How can one get the overall information that how ILO has been working, or how ILO has been allocating the budget, or let's say how ILO's priorities or program is being benefited to whom? How can we get that information?
Well, there are a number of layers of the budget. One is global, which is we work within the biennium budgeting process. And the biennium budget is debated, scrutinized at the governing body sessions. For example, in November, governing body sessions where we have 28 governing body members from the government, 14 members from the workers, 14 members from the employers, scrutinized, and there is a specific committee drafting and so on, and then put forward the governing body's discussion openly. In November already, this is 2016, we were now starting preparing for 2018-2019 budget, which tells you that there is a long period of thinking about what's the priority and how do we allocate the resources and so on. That's a global. And this is an open discussion, and then the website, you will see the government.
It will be the website.
Yes, yeah. And then comes to the regional. Within that agreed program and budget, we will have the allocation to the regions, and then from there we will have the allocation to the countries, the country offices, such as like this ILO Nepal.
Okay, what about Nepal? If you want to get some information, the nitty-gritty information of ILO's project of budget allocation and whom the budget is being gone, like that, then how can we get that information? From where?
Well, a summary of it should be in the website.
Right.
I'm not sure how detailed it would be, but if anyone is interested, there is I think ILO.org, the org. Anybody can make an inquiry, and they are obliged to share the information.
At last, I want to know something about this Future of Work initiative. Can you please shed some light on it?
Okay, this is a very interesting undertaking. Personally, I am very excited about it. Future, of course, tomorrow is the future. 10 years from now is the future. We have the Sustainable Development Goals, which is 17 goals Nepal also has committed to. That is the Agenda 2030. So we were talking about 15 years from now, and all 17 goals which has the decent work in the heart of the 17 goals. So we are very happy about it, and we can talk about that also for a long time. But future work, we were trying to stretch our thinking beyond even 15 years, 20, 30, 50. Why? Because we see a very important global shift happening. Technological advancement is the kind of things that you never thought of even 20 years ago is possible. 3D printer. You know, I saw in a program on TV that one house is being made by the bricks, not transported as bricks, but printed in the 3D printers. All of the materials are printed by the 3D, and then you can build the houses. Obviously, the automation and robotization is affecting the world work significantly. Internet, commuting. A lot of young people were not in one place. So the standard form of employment, you were in one company or one office, you have one boss, for a long term. In my country, it was a lifetime employment. Once you were in the company, it's almost like a family, you belong there. That is changing significantly. Since World War II, that was a standard form of employment. For the first time in the history, we are seeing the decrease of that form and going into much more different types of work forms, the employment forms. It's changing so significantly. Climate change is pushing us to do much more resource efficient way. Alternative energy, solar, hydro, getting away from the fossil fuel based economy. That means, what does it mean? That the life is changing, but also the world work is changing a lot. The green jobs, what we call, the green economy will create more jobs in a different areas. Talking about the the job lost in the traditional manufacturing factories, that surplus can go into the more greener jobs or green jobs that is being created. Those are the changes. Aging society, there is a significant labor shortage in many aged society, trying to bring back women into the society. So those are the kind of things that we were putting forward. If this is the trend, globally changing, what does it mean to your country? That's why on Tuesday we had the tripartite discussion on future of work. What does it mean for Nepal in that? This is a year all the 187 member states are asked to think about those mega trends, but think locally, what does it mean? So this is a very exciting initiative.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Well, thank you so much for your time and valuable opinion, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, the audience, to you as well. For more news and entertainment packages, please do stay with us. Keep watching Himalaya Television. Namaste.